Yeah. You're listening to the PT Pinecast, where smart people in healthcare come to make noise. Here's your host, Jimmy McKay.
I'm pretty much just living live today here at Graham Sessions, atop APTA's headquarters, live streaming during Graham Sessions. And I'm telling people Graham Sessions is this annual event called the Cool Kids Lunch Table, super secret. But you know all these people. If you're rubbing elbows in the profession, you've met or heard of, or at least know asymmetrically through LinkedIn, a lot of these people. Alex Bendersky, been on the show a bunch of times. Is this how many Graham Sessions?
My number one.
This is your first one?
It's my first one. I'm Grand Session Virgin.
Really? This is great. We get purity. So my big picture question would be, what is something so far that's made you someone who thinks, writes, talks, acts in this profession? And we'll get to what you do. But what's something that surprised you or excited you? Let's go with positive first.
I think the panel sessions, the panel structure is actually very good. It's a good format to get different voices.
Multiple. But go topic wise. Anything that either is on the docket for later today or tomorrow, or already that's made you go, okay, cool.
The strength in numbers talk is definitely pertinent. There's a laws of scale that can't
long lever arm.
Yeah, the levers and the arms, the leverage.
Talking about, and again, the rule the rule about Graham Sessions is you can't say who said what, right? We'll just talk about the idea, and the idea there is, can you find ways to connect with colleagues or other businesses without being bought formally, right?
Sure.
And then how can you use those economies of scale to get things that are better, either better, higher payment or lower cost?
Sure.
To those things.
Think of the European Union, right? You retain your autonomy, you retain your borders, but you open them up so that you can have a collective bargaining, you can have collective currency. Like just you use that as a narrative for physical therapy practice. So you keep your autonomy and agency, but you are able to share some of the risk, able to share your borders, able to share some of the common expenses. So it's logical. Like certainly there's movement in the right direction, right? It's not the only organization that's uniting. Hopefully there's going to be more of a grassroots movement around the country to do this, but it's still a fractured ecosystem.
Yeah.
And so by majority, we either lose private practices because they sell, or we're losing because they close.
Yeah.
So,
what is something? My second question: what is something that isn't on the docket that, as you were, you're the guy who reads the instructions? Is my guess on you? What's something that you were reading and going, why are we not talking about this?
So I think the theme of strong, like diamonds under pressure. Right?
That's the theme this year. Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's closely related to the actual topics that are being discussed. Like
I think it was just the theme. Yeah.
It's a nice theme. It sounds good, and like it certainly gets the buy-in. It's like, we're hurting. Let's see how we can get better. But teaching resilience is a skill, and I think to teach resilience, you have to have topics that actually empower you.
Yeah.
To withstand some of the stress under pressure. And like if you're going to turn this coal into a diamond, like teach people how. Don't give them 10,000 years until you actually turn into that. So
we forgot to add that it is pressure that turns coal into diamonds. It is also a long time.
Yeah, for sure, right? It takes millennia. And if you want to expedite the process, you have to have an external source. You have to have that pressure source from somewhere else.
If you were to talk next year, what would you say this needs to be on the docket? Idea-wise?
No, it's a terrific question. I think next year on the docket, you need to have a greater voice of other professions that are represented here. You need digital health providers.
That's
to
interesting.
be present. Like they are half of the economic equity in physical therapy is digital health, and they're not present. PTAs need to be here. PTAs are the troops on the ground. They're the ones delivering care. I don't see them represented in any panels. So if you're going to have someone delivering care for you, they should have voice.
Yeah. PTAs, and I'm not the politics part of PT. I like the fact that some other people do it, but PTAs were just getting basic rights in APTA. Still working for basic rights.
Sure, right?
So of course, there was like, why don't the PTAs show up? I'm like, would you?
No, exactly. But how do you expect it economically to give them a bigger burden of delivery care process without giving them representation and giving them voice? So I would love to see a broader representation. We can't maintain this exclusive PT only club.
Yeah.
And still expect equity.
Yeah. So. What's something that not a lot of people have on their bingo card right now as we record in January 2026 that will become a thing in the next 12 months? Like something that people are not not going to see, we'll say most people aren't going to see coming in as an issue. There's a lot of policy changes, law, and maybe they're like, well, I saw the law change, but I haven't felt that yet. What's something in the next 12 months that people are sleeping on that they're going to be affected by?
So not to be a bearer of bad news, but your bread and butter of outpatient physical therapy business, your post-operative cases are going to start to disappear.
Why is that?
Your risk-based contracts, your hospitals become stakeholders in your risk. And when the hospital is a stakeholder in the risk, they will retain most of the delivery processes. So your mom and pop shop that is now taking care of your ACL high school population, which is great because it's like 6 months of guaranteed utilization. Once that disappears, what are you going to do to occupy your therapist time? So it's like you be aware of these models that are emerging. These are 10-year models. And the reason why they're 10-year models is they're not expected to be fully live until 2027, 2028, but they're here. So your team, your access, your wiser models, they're here. They're 10-year roadmap. They have a runway. And right now you're just taking off. So are you ready to deliver care? Are you ready to collect outcomes? Do you have the infrastructure? Do you have the technology? So yeah, I think that's
all right. Well, someone who's, like you said, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you were. What should someone be doing, reading? Look, where should they be skating to?
I think one positive effect of CMS is there's full transparency about.
Right, they put it in writing. It's a lot of writing, but it's
a lot of writing. But we live in a day and age where you have ChatGPT. You just ask it to summarize it for you, and you become an educated consumer.
I learned logical fallacies on the drive down here. I was like, I know they were a thing, but I'm like, teach this to me, then give me an example, then give me a multiple choice quiz.
Absolutely,
and I learned it in 2 hours.
So it's democratization of information.
It's like wild.
We are living in an age where knowledge is democratized. It's free, almost free. You just have to be a smart consumer. So go to CMS website, download those documents, and ask ChatGPT to summarize them for you. Step 1. Step 2, look into your existing infrastructure. Are you ready? Create a checklist. Go through the same ChatGPT conversation and say,
what do I need to do?
Give me a checklist. Exactly. I run an outpatient physical therapy practice in Arkansas. What are my steps to participate in these risk-based models? Give me a checklist. Now you are an educated consumer. Now you're prepared, and then start checking off those boxes.
The last part is really important too. Checking off the boxes.
Oh, for sure.
We always want the broshure. Give me the checklist. I now feel safe. You still need to act on it.
Yeah.
We need you to act on it. Or I won't pay.
You remember those days when dating was a thing, right?
I remember that.
I've been married for too long, so my memory is very faint. But if you wanted somebody to respond to your phone call, you have to make a phone call. So you have to be the one taking the initiative, and you have to be prepared. So if you're gonna want to future-proof yourself, then start acknowledging that where your shortcomings are and protect yourself from them.
Yeah. What do you think of the room in terms of who's in it, being this your first Graham sessions? And it's hard to see everybody, right? We're just seeing people walk around. But there's business, there's academia, there's small clinic owners, there's large clinic owners, there's product companies. Who else? You mentioned PTAs, you mentioned digital health. Who else needs to be in that room?
I mean, payers need to be here.
Why would they come?
So we're assuming that payers is a one homogeneous system,
right?
Like it's a heterogeneous system. There's parts of payer ecosystem. There's parts of their ecology that is interested in what we're doing.
Really?
They're just getting this information through secondary sources and tertiary sources. Why not be here? Why not extend the invitation? See who will come. We don't extend the invitation, right?
That's what Lincoln would do. We're looking at the Lincoln Monument over there, right over the hill. That's what Lincoln would
extend the invitation. There's no enemies here, right? Like we're looking at the same picture from different vantage points and then expecting different results. It's not going to happen. So start the conversation. Start the conversation that's not haggling over prices, because that's already step 3. You're haggling over prices, but you haven't established ground truths. Like get them here to establish ground truths. Get somebody who has knowledge of payer sources. Right now we're talking about payer sources from a consumer side only. So what are you really getting an equal representation here? Yeah.
The thing that frustrated me sometimes with people is we're very people-y. I came to my first Graham sessions was 10 years ago. And then I went back a year. So I did 2016, 2017, or 2018, whatever it was. And the problem was we were talking about the same thing the second time. And I don't have patience. You and I are right now in the hallway while the talk is going on.
Sure.
You and I are like, got it. I'm going to be outside. I need to walk around. I need to touch some grass. Why do we fail to do that sometimes?
Well, Jimmy, I've been a physical therapist for 23 years, and I'm reliving the same year for 23 years.
You've been at Pete. You've done 23 1-year.
I have done
careers.
23 1-year careers. We've been talking about the value. We've been talking about identity. This is not a new conversation.
It's funny because I come in and I go, "This is all so new," and then 3, 6, 9 years later, I'm like, "Oh, same thing."
It is the same thing. It's almost ridiculous how reproducible this is, and I fully expect in 2026, 2027. Nothing changes when nothing changes. So, and we're in that same perpetual cycle of nothing changing.
Yeah.
So, and we have agents of change. So we have people calling for change, but just calling for change without action.
That's what it felt like. It felt like, what do we want? Change. When do we want it? Now. How will we get it? Someone else. Or I already did my part. I said what should be changed. But people are out there in clinics.
Maximizing or satisfying, right? Like we want to maximize because ideally we want it all, right? But it's not a binary; it's a spectral thing. So you have to satisfy. So you have to accept suboptimal change, but change is going to come regardless whether you want it or not. You can just drive the direction of change to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Do you remember that Simpsons episode when Homer or the mayor was running for re-election, and he came in the balcony and he said, like, "All right, people of Springfield, abortions for all," and people were like, "Boo!" And then he's like, "All right, people, never mind. Abortions for none," and they're like, "Boo!"
Right,
abortions for some, yeah.
Right. Everything's mayonnaise.
Yeah,
right.
It is. You just expect, like, if you want to be the agent of change, you have to be the active ingredient. You have to drive energy into it. So
I've got a social experiment going on that I thought would have some reaction, and it turned out having no reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk to you about it. What I needed to do was go further with this, and I will. So I dropped this in a Facebook group that are you in the Tony's Facebook group?
No.
Passion for I'll get you in there. It's meant to be a bunch of people looking to create content, alternative revenue streams for practitioners. What it's turned into, a bunch of people trying to solve problems different ways, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Meritato, my normal co-host on our live stream, he tries to solve a thing 1,000 different ways.
Sure.
Tony tries to fail as fast as possible, which is good. So I dropped this little social experiment I'm calling 99 Problems PT Edition.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea was we can't usually change the big thing first, right? Knock down the small domino, it'll lead to a second, third, right? Then you get bigger. So my thing was, this came from an idea. I saw a guy talking in his community about medium problems. Medium problems are, first we need to describe large and small problems. Small problems are, you come out of your house and someone just left a bag of trash there. I just throw it away. Like, I don't call the cops, right? It's just like, I'll solve it. It's stupid, it's rude, but I'll just solve it. Big problems are, someone drives a dump truck through City Hall.
Sure.
That's big. The government, like the town, is going to take care of that. The medium-sized problems are like, it's too big for one person, but not big enough to ever hit the number one list on the town. So he gave an example of how they solved medium problems, and he's like, I'm giving you an example that you should take to other places. So the medium example was, there were parts of the city infrastructure, like sidewalks in neighborhoods, that were just overgrown. It's not really big enough. It's not causing a fire. It's not causing a flood. So the town's not going to take care of it. But uncovering a sidewalk is like a pain in the ass for one person. So he's like, we got a group of 3 people, and the 3 people all brought a friend, and now it's 6.
Sure.
And then we did it. And while we were doing it, we shot a video, and then 10 people were like, where's your next one? Next thing you know, you got 30 people. So that was one problem. So the idea is, you've now got experience. You've got people who are like, that wasn't that hard. And there's more than one person. And now you've got cred.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things he was talking about. The important aspects of what maybe talk about this was, now you're like, we solve problems. So the next time you go to solve a problem, you're like, I have a resume of problems solved. I solved this little one, then a bigger one, then a bigger one. So I said, could we take this to PT? What are the 99 problems? Let's rank them small to big. And then who wants to help me solve the smallest one? Yeah. And we don't move on until we solve the smallest one. And then we solve the next biggest one. But along the way, we picked up 3 or 4 more people who were like, I'll solve that problem. And now you've got a team who are now skilled at problem solving. They have a variety of skill sets and experience. The problem was, Alex, I put this post in. I said, help me figure out the problems. Nobody suggested one problem.
So you have to remember, there's a couple of problems with your problem.
Okay, I can't figure out what it is because I thought it was cool.
A problem with your problem is that there's a selection bias. People who will react to that post are the people that are already problem solvers.
You're probably right. Yes.
So you're not asking, like, the problem solvers are the ones that will get a reaction out of it, and the ones that actually do need to be the ones solving problems. Well, not the ones that are reacting.
Yeah, I felt that trap.
Right. So the second one is like you're discussing thresholds, right? The threshold for change. There's a really good book. It's called Cascades, and the gentleman is a journalist and I think political scientist. But the point is, he looks into these environmental cascades that are agents for change. So essentially, it's nonlinear change, right? And he talks about the Eastern Europe when the Soviet bloc fell through. And it didn't happen right away, but initially there was a little protest, and it was squelched. People left. And then there was a little bit bigger protest, and then the police, instead of just letting people protest, started reacting, which caused even bigger changes. So the cascade is that nonlinear amplification of a response,
like a hockey stick, you mean?
Until the threshold is past a certain threshold, the cascade turns into change. Mm-hmm. So what is the better question would be here is, what is the threshold of stress on the system for the change to occur? Like, when is our community going to be right at that point? We're going to be like, that's it. We have to do something different. We're not there yet. Right now, we're still talking about problems. We're not talking about solutions because we're not at that threshold of change.
It's not scary enough. It's not pressing
scary,
enough.
But we're okay with scaries, right? Like, scary is not actionable. Actionable is when I actually don't have bread to feed my family. Then it becomes actionable. So when there was scary that was actionable was in 2002 when Medicare came up with a cap, and 50% of physical therapists lost their jobs. All of a sudden, that was scary because you are not employable. You have your student loans, and you have to pay for them. That is actually actionable. That's when change occurred. If you look at the fundamental change in our profession, early 2000s was good. Like, we made a lot of positive change. And then become complacent, right? Then we have bread on the table.
Right.
Like, I'm not hungry anymore. So
the line, like, hard times create hard men create easy times, easy times create easy men. Like, and now it's a cycle.
That fable, right? Like, it went to war, like came back. Like, there's an entire like Chinese like fable that goes into that. Like, each step of the cycle, there's a positive and a negative. But we're not there yet. So we're still just discussing this change, and we have been for years.
Yeah.
But I foresee that the way the government is looking at our utilization matrix is they're going to try to cap our environment, and we have a potential of becoming a very niche fringe industry unless we change. And part of it is what we discussed about this risk-based contracts, but part of it is just identifying that what you're doing is not good enough yet. Like, it's good enough for you to satisfy the bare minimum
now.
Yeah.
But when that changes, you're in trouble unless you're prepared for it.
But the threshold of failure is based on your ability to handle the stress, right? Like, your business resilience is dependent not on your execution right now. It's dependent on how tolerant are you to when 50% of your patient volume disappears. Can you still keep the doors open?
Right.
Or if the payers are going to turn away and say, we're just going to discount you another 50%, and you're accepting these payments. Can you maintain that? Well, and I think you can still operationalize it. But are you ready? Do you have these contingency plans?
And you're prepared to until you're not, and then you might not know what that point is, but you'll know it when you get there.
The known unknowns and the unknown unknowns, right? So these are known unknowns, but you have to protect yourself from unknown unknowns. You have to have enough of a buffer that allows you to be more resilient to these changes.
Yeah. All right. We're doing quick live streams, and every episode we do something called the parting shot.
This is the parting shot. One last mic drop moment. No pressure. Just your legacy on the line.
All right, parting shot. What do you want to leave with people? What's either words of scary or words of encouragement? Which way are we going to go?
Oh, this is a huge opportunity. It has been a huge opportunity. I think now we just have to seize that opportunity. We have a chance. There's still probably 50% of the market has not been captured by anyone. Digital health providers came in and captured some parts of that market, and now they have $1 billion valuation. And that's not even half of the market that's available. If you look at the overall economic cost of musculoskeletal problems in a society, it's $1 trillion venture. And we're capturing 65 billion of it, right?
So the people who risk, or the people who do the work, who follow the last step, give me the help me understand, give me the checklist, and follow the checklist will be the people who people are going to capture the other $1 billion or $1 trillion. Wow. That is like it's just an immense financial and economic opportunity for those that are prepared. Yeah. All right, Alex, live from Graham Sessions. Appreciate your time. Thanks for doing this on your very first Graham Sessions. Amen. Thanks for being.
That's it for this one, but we're just getting warmed up. Smash follow, send it to a friend, or crank up the next episode. Want to go deeper? Hit us at ptpintcast.com. Or find us on YouTube and socials at ptpintcast. And legally, none of this was advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. See, Keith, we read the script. Happy now?